I am really delighted to see so many incredible leaders and so much of our community here. I want to start with a gratitude by thanking the Minnesota Democratic delegation, Senator Amy Klobuchar, Senator Tina Smith, Congresswoman Angie Craig, Congresswoman Betty McCollum, for strongly speaking in opposition to the hate, to the fear-mongering, and for standing up in unity for the Somali community here in Minnesota and across the country. I also want to thank Governor Tim Walz, Lieutenant Governor Betty Flanagan, Attorney General Keith Ellison, for reminding folks why Minnesota is a great state, because we all stay united and uplift one another. And I want to thank the incredible leaders who are behind me, whether they are elected officials or faith leaders or community leaders, for speaking in one unified voice against the scapegoating of a community that has thrived in Minnesota and whom most have chosen to call this state home. I think I want to speak to a few things. One, I want to speak to what Trump has tweeted and what it means for those of us who call this incredible state home. Because facts matter and facts are important. It is unfortunate that we are led by a president who does not understand the laws of this land. When the president tweets as if he has the authority to terminate temporary protected status for Somalis in Minnesota, even little kids in 8th grade know that that is not an authority that the president has and can wield. Temporary status protection for Somalis expires March of 2026, and anyone with that status has 60 days after for it to have any impact on them. And so if you are confused, if you feel threatened, know that the law is on your side and our demented president can't do anything about it. The other unlawful thing that our lawless president is claiming to do so is to terminate that status for only one state, which he has no authority to do so. So, for the 300 or so people that are impacted, that currently live in Minnesota and across the country, we see you and we stand with you, and we will make sure we do everything that we can to help make sure that your status is adjusted before March of 2026. Because you know and I know that there is nothing temporary about people's lives here in the United States. Many of these people that we are talking about have built lives. They own homes, they own businesses, they are a vibrant part of our communities. And we want to make sure that their new home stays their forever home. The second thing I want to speak to is that in this country, we do not blame the lawlessness of an individual on a whole community. Because if you believe in law and order, you understand that if a person commits a crime, they face justice, and that you don't put that crime on a whole community. What we also know is that there is not a single evidence that the president or his cronies have put forth that there are any single resource from taxpayers in Minnesota that has gone to aid and abate terrorism. That language is dangerous. That language puts the lives of Somalis, not only in Minnesota, but across the country, in danger. And if the president believed that, and he had evidence, he would take people to court. So we are sick and tired of the president waking up one day and deciding to put forth falsehoods and demonize whole communities, while the ignorant people that support him then take the lies that he's spreading and use it as a fact. We've seen it during the campaign where he said Asians were eating cats and dogs. We've seen his vice president repeat those lies. We've seen the media run it as a headline as if it was a fact. That is shameful. That is shameful. That is ignorant. It makes us look like a stupid nation that does not believe in truth, but traffics in lies. It makes the world mock us, and we are better than that. We are better than that as Americans. Somalis are not terrorizing this nation. We are helping it thrive. Somalis have always seen themselves as a fabric of this nation. We have signed up to serve this country in its military. We have signed up to teach children. We have signed up to become nurses and doctors and engineers. We have signed up to be public servants and get elected into office. We don't do that because we hate this nation. We do that because we love this nation. We do that because we have deep gratitude to the Americans who have given us the opportunity to find a new home, to settle in that new home, to find new joys in that new home, to start families in that new home, and to call that new home our own. We don't complain on the sidelines. We get involved in making America better. And finally, before I get off this stage, I just want to take a moment, because I always jokingly say that Minnesota doesn't just welcome refugees, but it sent one to Congress. But I want most Minnesotans to know this. Majority of us Somalis who are here, as my friend Ali said yesterday, most of us, this was not the first place we came when we came to the United States. But most of us chose Minnesota as our home because Minnesota is special to us. Minnesotans are special to us. When we moved from Arlington, Virginia, and came here nearly 30 years ago, none of us decided to move to another state. My siblings and I and my dad, until he died, called Minnesota home. Because, like I said, Minnesota is special. And I know almost every single elected Somali Minnesotan did not start out in Minnesota, but chose to come here, stay here, start families here, and ultimately serve the people who welcomed them into this beautiful state. So not only are we not going anywhere, we are not going to allow anybody to make us feel less Minnesotan or less American. We are not going to allow anybody to push us into the shadows. We're not going to allow anybody to erase our presence and our contribution. And we are not going to allow anyone to scapegoat us. Because as Somalis, what we learned from Minnesotans is that you have to be resilient to thrive in Minnesota. And we are goddamn resilient. Thank you so much.